Oh, I thought we'd just look at the bus schedule. Yes. Now, obviously, I have to go to court or you're going to arrest me. But you won't admit the evidence that I wasn't in Brennan and I wasn't cyber stalking. Because your baby's dead and mine is alive. Oh, now, when you abuse your authority like this, and I say, well, we're playing split the baby. Oh, let me see here. Let's see. Out shuttle squim page 20. I just want you to understand that when you break the judicial system because you don't admit the evidence of a person's innocence, yes, and then you make me go through all these court hearings and then you refuse to reschedule the court hearing or dismiss the case, obviously there's an abuse of power. Right. Now, for me to get to 140, yeah. But I think we went through this once before. Yes. I actually have to take the 940 to get there at 1024, and then I have to sit there for 2.5 hours. Right. And then I can take the 550 back, and I get to Port Angeles sometime around 8 o'clock. Yeah. Now, exactly why am I going to court? Because you made up a crime. You fabricated something, yes, that you do have the evidence that I wasn't in Britain and that email, right, and all of them really for the last year, yes, is not cyber stalking. Now, watch these videos because they explain why it is that this is not ending well for those that know about the crimes of violating the civil rights, violating the rights of the children known as my five sons, and as big as you might think they are, yes, they are minors. So, I don't care if you're 6'3" and 228 pounds. You're not 17 years old, you're 16. And then there's the parenting rights of being a father. Now, for all of those vain police officers, sheriffs, and oaths that do not understand the crimes, yes, I'm talking about the crime of refusing to admit the evidence. Yes, refusing. Refusing. Now, you thought you were the king, but you're not. Now, I wanted to speak to this woman. Yes. One day, 3 hours, 20 minutes, and 34 seconds. And then I gave you another Google Drive, right, so that you could see all the evidence. Now, what exactly is the problem? You have been found guilty of certain crimes and you don't want to be prosecuted. You've been found negligent in certain crimes and you don't want to be sued. So your whole thought was, well, we will cover up the protection orders while we didn't have jurisdiction of law. Yes. We're going to cover up the dissolution of marriage where the respondent never got notice of court hearings and didn't receive the actual dissolution of marriage. We're going to cover up everything that we've done. We're going to take the live baby and try to say it's our own when you actually have a dead baby. The judgment of the judicial system. Now, it's bad enough getting sued for criminal violations of the law. Civil violations, those civil lawsuits where I can say, well, I have some damages, pain and suffering. Then there are the tort lawsuits, yes. And quite a while ago, I mentioned that I was a whistleblower. Now, a whistleblower has certain protections that you didn't recognize when I emailed those in government. Yes. I just went looking again at the False Claims Act, and this talks about Medicaid and Medicare, right? But there's the QTAM provisions. Yes, somewhat interesting, really. Yeah. See, whistleblowers bringing state-specific schemes to the attention of state prosecutors. Let's say I went through every state prosecutor in each and every state of the United States. I brought it to their attention of the fraud of violating the civil rights of American citizens. Yes, not enforcing the due process rights of respondents. Yes, having my sons in the wrong grade for the last 7.5 years. Yes, and then refusing to admit the evidence that I wasn't in Brennan and I wasn't cyber stalking. I was bringing to the attention of the prosecutors in each and every state of the United States the schemes of kidnapping children right now. Oh, whistleblowers who report to the federal government are the ones living the dream. Yes. Now, this is somewhat sarcastic. I put my signature on it, and there's a big lawsuit here. Let's say in retaliation of me emailing the FBI, yes, your crime of saying that I was in Sequim, Washington when I wasn't Sequim Police Department, yes, you get prosecuted. Pooch. Let's say that whistleblowers on every dollar recover the federal and state government, among other costs. Yes, these state statutes that you said as the court commissioner are not needed to be enforced, where you have to have proof of service prior to having court hearings. Yes, you have to have jurisdiction. Now, why don't we get the state treasuries? Go through every state where they have a state treasurer and state treasury in employees. Now, above and beyond the FCAs, yes, there's what's known as me, emailing 2,280,000 emails to every fucking federal employee right now. See, this thought of employees, the federal government, state governments, associations, organizations not having any liability for the knowledge of fraud, it's not true. Ooch. It's like saying, well, I have the dead baby and you have the live baby when it's actually my baby that is alive. Yes. Now, I did look at this. Indignant, the whistleblowers bar organized around a cause of its own, finding a way to force states to pay bounties through the enactment of the state FCAs. Now, what's really interesting is that thereby doubling the rewards paid to whistleblowers. In fact, I could be getting 30%, yes, of everything that the government says that, well, we just don't have time to prosecute. Because as I was reading it, well, I'm a whistleblower. I told you that years ago when I emailed the FBI. I don't have to be an employee of the state or the federal government to expose fraud and waste. And for those in the Office of Inspector Generals, yes, you have knowledge of fraud and waste. Oh, that means multi-jurisdictional litigation under state and federal law. Now, I put emergency and final. Every time you arrested me, where you yourselves have the actual evidence, yes, that I didn't commit a crime, it was retaliation. Pooch, hate crime. Now let him who accuses be of clear fame and not criminal. Why don't you get me the prosecuting attorneys right now? I think Brett Roberts is not of clear fame. Yes. See, you're prosecuting me when everyone has the evidence that I wasn't at the scene of the crime. I wasn't in Brennan. I didn't cyberstalk. Yes. But it is criminal to accuse somebody of a crime without any evidence. Now, he who acquires for himself acquires for his heirs. Let's think of my 5 sons. Wisdom of Solomon. As much as you would say that you're going to obstruct me from suing you because of your fraud, yes. Everything I get happens to be for those that I get after I get what I'm going to get. Now, there could be a lot of children in my future because of women that want to volunteer to give me babies. Yeah. And when I start acquiring, yes, she does. I'm going to inquire in such a way right now that my wisdom, yeah, similar to that of Solomon, Pooh, pooh. Now, those who ought to inherit from the Father should inherit from the Son. Yeah. Let's